Welcome to our training today on 8 kinds of business funding that any new business can get. Whether you're an existing business or you're just getting started in business, we're going to be diving into 8 different types of funding that you can get for your business right now. So by the end of this training, you're going to learn at least 8 types of funding that can work for your business, exactly how they work, and exactly how to get approved. So you can use this money to either start your business and get it off the ground or grow an existing business that you already have. Now, though, for those that don't know me, my name is Ty Crandall. I'm CEO at Credit Suite. At a Credit Suite, this is what we do: is we help business owners get money, and we do it by helping you improve your fundability, or improving the things that lenders and credit issuers look at to determine if you should be given money. We also work with you improving and building your business credit for your EIN that's not linked to your personal social, and getting all different kinds of capital, many of which most people don't even know exist, and pulling all this capital into one place to make it real easy for you to get money. So if we can help you along the way, I'm going to put our number 877-600-2487 at the bottom of our slides, as well as a quick link to be able to get financing. So let's talk about where not to go. You do not want to go to conventional banks and SBA if you are looking to get money, especially to start a business. And the reason for this is that they're always going to want at least 2 to 3 years worth of tax returns. And if you're lucky, you may get a single credit card with them if you don't have a very well-established business. So I call this the 3C cash acquisition formula. It's real simple. If you want to get money for your business, you either need to have collateral, cash flow, or good credit typically. Now, we're going to talk about options today that you don't need any of those 3 things. But when it comes to getting a loan from a big bank, you need all 3. You need really good personal credit. You need really good established business credit. You need collateral equal to the debt that you're trying to borrow. And you also need to have consistent cash flow as verifiable for 2 to 3 years tax returns. I love SBA loans. We've gotten multiple SBA loans. I love bank loans, but you have to be a very well-established business to get them. And if you're not, and you don't have collateral, good credit, and cash flow, then it's very tough to do so. So SBA loans are very difficult to qualify for as well, because you've got 2 places you're qualifying for. SBA doesn't offer loans, they guarantee loans. So whenever you're trying to go into a big bank to get a loan, you're going to have to qualify for the bank, you're going to have to qualify for SBA. So it's very tough to go and get money from your bank as a result of this, because again, to be approved, all aspects of the business and you as the owner need to be near perfect before you're able to actually come in and get approved. And that's virtually impossible, especially for startup. And by startup, I mean from starting the business up to about 2 years in business, it's just almost impossible to meet the requirements that you're going to need to go into a big bank to get financing. So what can a startup do? Well, fortunately, there are options, and you want to play to you and your company's strength, and they're funding to match that strength. So there's a lot of startup financing you can get, whether it be loans or whether it be credit lines. But again, it's not coming from your bank. So if you're going to try to go in and talk to your banker about getting a startup loan, it's not the place to go. But the great news is there's a lot of places you can go and a lot of money that is available for you. You just need to make sure you stay away from the big banks, because they're not the best place for it. But you can get 25 grand, 50 grand, even over 100,000 in initial funding if you go to a lender that focuses on your strengths. And what I mean by that, I'm going to dive in here in just a minute and explain the kind of funding you can get and how it's matched to one of your individual strengths. So let's talk about some collateral-based loans as option number 1. So they're one of the best ways to go as a startup, because you can basically use your assets or the assets of somebody else you may know as collateral to get financing. Now, rates are often 5% or less on this. So that's insane. You're able to get money to start a business and keep your interest rates at 5% or less. And personal credit doesn't even matter with these loans. So you don't need cash flow, which means you can get it as a startup. You don't need bank statements. You don't need tax returns. You don't need to prove that you have revenue. So you can get it as a startup because there's no revenue proof. But the other cool thing is that you don't need to provide good credit either. You can get approved even with bad credit for this kind of financing as well. And you can get it with super low rates, like rates as low as 5%. You're able to actually get on this kind of financing. Now, there's a lot of types of financing or collateral that can be used here. You can use inventory. So for example, we have a program where if people have existing inventory, you can get a credit line, a low interest rate credit line using the existing inventory. Another example, we have a great inventory crowdfunding program that works for online retailers. So if you're selling stuff on Amazon, for example, or have a Shopify store, you can actually get 100% of the money you need to buy the inventory that you're selling, and then you only pay for that inventory when you actually sell it. So it's a great way to not even touch your cash flow and be able to get financing you need to buy inventory. Now, if you let your customers pay you on payments, that's called account receivables. Well, then you can use those account receivables as a way to be able to get financing. Okay, you can also use stocks or bonds or IRAs or 401ks from yourself or an individual. Now, let me give you an example. If I want to go to my dad and get $50,000 to start a business, well, if I go to dad and say I need 50 grand, well, then dad's going to have to give me the 50,000 from his bank accounts or liquidate stocks or something to give it to me. But if dad can keep his stocks in place, can still earn interest on those stocks like he always has been, and then get a line of credit for 50 grand against the stocks, then that means that he can still keep his stuff invested. He can still earn the interest on his investments. I'm just using his collateral as his asset as a collateral to be able to get financing. And the reason I give that example is that 75% of business owners get money from family and friends to start a business. So I just gave you a way easier way to do it. Okay, equipment's another option. Let's say my grandpa has a big backhoe that he doesn't use anymore. I could use that, even if he does use that backhoe, I can use that backhoe as collateral to get financing for my business. So even if I don't have an asset like equipment or inventory or stocks or bonds or IRAs or 401ks, someone around me may, and being able to tap in and use their asset as collateral gives me an easier path to get funding than trying to rely on them actually giving me the money out of their pocket. Now, commercial vehicles can work. Commercial real estate can work. You can even use equity in your home to get business financing against that as well. If you're an insurance agent, book a business, and you have a book of business, that book of business can serve as collateral. So the key here is to look at an asset you own that can serve as collateral and use that to get financing. And since the collateral is your strength, the other two C's, cash flow and credit, don't matter because we have collateral. So this is a great way to go. And it's not just one kind of financing. Even though I said we're going to talk about 8 types of funding here, we've already talked about like 10 types of collateral that you could actually use to get financing, giving you a lot of individual funding options in here as well. Now, as I mentioned, you can also use a guarantor as well. When we talk about 401ks, 401ks are commonly used by people that are tapping into multiple 401ks to use to fund a business. So again, you can ask a family member or a friend to use their assets as collateral. It's easier than asking them for cash because in a lot of cases, their assets isn't even in jeopardy unless you default on that kind of financing. Now, speaking of which, securities-based financing is one of these examples of collateral-based financing. So collateral-based financing, we're using an asset as collateral, and securities-based financing, we're using stocks, we're using bonds. You can get rates lower than 2% as a working capital credit line using the stocks and bonds as collateral. And as I mentioned, people are still able to get financing against those stocks and bonds. Now, or still be able to earn interest on those stocks and bonds. Now, yet another kind is 401k financing. Now, you can use your existing 401k or IRA as collateral to get business financing as well. It's based on IRS proven strategies. There's no tax penalties. You still earn interest on your 401k. You get low rates, often less than 5%, and you can get 100% of what's rollable. That means whatever's not with an employer now, you're actually able to borrow as much as 100% of the value of that 401k to be able to get financing as a result. Okay, and ultimately, you're setting up a new corporation, and then what you're doing is you're basically just transferring over your 401k to own stock in your own business versus own stock in another business. So let's talk about unsecured financing. It can provide some of the highest loan amounts in credit line for startups. So let's talk about this. Remember, we talked about these 3 C's, cash flow, credit, collateral. We talked a lot in the first 3 options about how you can use collateral to get financing as your strength. And when you have collateral, cash flow and credit don't matter. Now we're talking about unsecured financing where credit matters, but cash flow and collateral don't matter. So you're able to get this even with no cash flow, even with no collateral. You're able to get 0% credit lines and cards that you get 0% for up to 18 months. This is our #1 program for startups because the interest rate's 0%. So it's perfect. It gives you up to 18 months to start making revenue and profit to pay interest on these accounts. And during that first 18 months, you're paying 0% interest on these accounts. There's no financials required. And these report to the business credit reporting agencies, so you could build business credit at the same time that you're actually getting financing for your business. So this will even get you access to even more money or you can even get access to more money if you do have a personal guarantor. So if you want to actually sign for this program and have somebody else do the same, well, then you can get even more money with this program as well. Now, you usually can get at least 5 times the amount of your current highest credit limit account. So let's say you have a $10,000 credit card right now. You can get 5 times that, which would be like $50,000 in financing, up to $150,000. As a startup, that's insane. You're able to get 0% credit lines for up to $150,000 as a startup, or basically 5 times the amount of your highest credit limit account. Okay, and you can easily get 5 times the amount of money you'd get on your own. If you try to go into your bank, you try to go get a Chase business credit card, you're going to get 5 times the amount with this program than trying to go out and get your own kind of credit cards on your own. Now, there's no impact on your personal credit with this kind of financing because a lot of it reports on the business credit reports, not the personal. But you need to have good personal credit. They prefer 700. You can get approved for as little as a 680 FICO score using your credit or that of a guarantor. So again, back to my example here. If my dad has good credit, it's easier for me to go to my dad and say, Dad, help me get $50,000 to start my business. I don't want you to give me $50 in cash. I don't want you to liquidate stocks. I don't want you to do any of that. What I want you to do is sign as a guarantor for these credit lines. They report to the business credit reporting agency. So it helps me build business credit. It doesn't adversely affect your personal credit because it doesn't report on your personal credit reports. It just reports on my business credit reports. And it's easier for me to get Dad to sign off on that and be a guarantor because he's able to come in and help me. And all that's online, which is a big deal, is his credit in case I default. Meaning he's still helping me get my 50 grand. Okay, but he doesn't have to give me the 50 grand in cash. He's just signing as a guarantor, and the only way he's hurt is if I default on that money. Okay, now with good personal credit, you can get unsecured credit cards as well with a personal guarantee. Okay, and with good business credit, you can get unsecured credit without a personal guarantee. So I'm going to talk about business credit a little bit later here as well, but with this option, you're going to provide a personal guarantee. There's going to be a credit check. You're going to need good credit. Your guarantor is going to need credit. Either you or your guarantor, whoever's applying, needs good credit, but you're able to get it as a startup up to 150 grand. Here's the other best part. You could take cash out of these credit lines. I call this a credit line hybrid. You get the benefit of credit cards where you get 0% rates for 18 months. You get the benefit of credit line where you could take the cash out. You combine those and that's super powerful. You could take the cash out of these, all of it. Like if you get 150,000 in approvals, you could liquidate all 150 grand in cash at 0% money for up to 18 months. I mean, I can't think of a better type of financing to start a business. And we use this a lot, for example, for real estate investors. They get into this, they buy their first 1 or 2 properties using this program. Then what they end up doing is then they flip those properties. They use the credit lines again to buy more. And by the time they've done their 3rd property, then they actually can get a program called House Reseller, which is a program that's specifically designed for flippers that have experience. So they use this credit line, they buy properties, they use another kind of funding I'm going to show you in a minute to fix up those properties, they flip the properties, they do this 3 times, then they have a track history, then we go to private investors that fund real estate investors, and then they never need to worry about money again. Those private investors will fund their future projects once they have experience. So this is what we use to get a lot of real estate investors off the ground. And Jerry says, good stuff. Thanks, Jerry. Mario, you were on my Facebook yesterday. Thanks for tuning in. Does having authorized user cards help you for good credit? It does, but this won't work off of your highest limit from authorized users. So remember I told you you can get 5 times the amount of your highest credit limit account. that does not use an authorized user. It must be your own primary account that you're using as the one that is the highest limit you have, not an authorized user, but the authorized user will help you for having the good credit score, Mario. And Mario says for the unsecured financing. So hopefully that answers your question. So another unsecured credit cards with good personal credit is what we just kind of talked about. You can get up to $150,000, and this is also comes from banks. So if you want to not get the credit line hybrid, if you don't want to get 5 times the amount of your highest credit limit, well, then we could look at real business credit cards. There's real business credit cards by themselves that you may be able to get. Okay, approvals from 10 to 150,000. The highest we usually see is about $50,000 on an individual credit card limit. No, and a lot of these, you're not even getting consumer credit reporting. So, for example, Bank of America, Barclays Bank, Chase, Amex, they all offer these credit cards where you can typically get up to $50,000. I say 150 because it's possible, but typically you're going to get 10 to 50 grand. Okay, they can report to the business credit reporting agencies, not the consumer. You're going to need excellent credit. You're going to need low inquiries, but again, you're able to come in and get that for about 18 months and get an individual credit card that can help you as well. Now let's talk about business credit, because you're also able to get up to $50,000 with good business credit. So let's say that your personal credit's not good. Well, then we build a business credit profile and score for your business, and then that credit profile and score could be used to get a Visa card, to get a MasterCard, to get an American Express card, up to about a $50,000 limit. Now, they report to the business credit reporting agencies, and the good part is that it only takes about 6 months to build your business credit to get these kind of revolving credit accounts. And personal credit's not used. What we're doing is we're using our established business credit to qualify for the credit card. So I'm able to come in and get a $10,000 Visa card without a personal credit check, because what they're doing is they're using my established business credit to qualify me instead. So it's a great way to use business credit to qualify you for what we call cash credit cards. You usually get, 0% rates for up to 18 months, and then you pay normal credit card rates after that, usually 10 to 20%. On average, about 15, 16% interest rates. Now, that's the same with all credit cards, but you're getting a 0% intro period, and then you're paying a low or a 15 or so percent interest rate after that. So let's go back here, because we've talked a lot about unsecured. We talked about credit line hybrid. We talked about getting multiple credit lines, 5 to 8 credit lines, 0%, take the cash out, no doc, no bank statements, no tax returns. Then we talked about getting a credit card, using good credit of you or a guarantor to not get 5 or 8 credit lines, but to get a single credit card with Barclays Bank or Bank of America or Chase, one of these other sources that will report that credit to the business credit reporting agencies. Now we've talked about unsecured business credit cards that are based on your business credit quality, not consumer. This is where we've built a credit profile and score for our business, and we use that to come in and get a Visa card, to get a MasterCard, using our business credit to be able to qualify. Now, I like this because we are creating the asset that we're going to use as collateral. We're creating the business credit profile that's used to be able to get that kind of financing. Now, federal grants is yet another one. They generally do not have to be paid back. It's free money. So for urban projects, try HUD. They have great grants that are free money for urban projects, and for rural projects, try USDA or the Department of Agriculture. Now, federal funding means a lot of paperwork, but again, if you are willing to fill this out completely and correctly, then you're getting free money. You're getting money that doesn't even have to be paid back when you're actually getting access to grants. Now, there's state and local grants as well. Your local government provides a lot of these, and they're available through grantwatch.com. So in your own state, in your own county, in your own zip code, you also have a lot of local grants that are available that you can find on GrantWatch. But also try your city and state's website. They're often less restrictive than federal grants because they're lending to people in the local area that are putting it into the local economy. So these grants are easier to get than what you're going to find on the federal side as well. Now, Mario says, can you do it quicker than 6 months for business credit? You can't. And the 6 months for business credit that I actually went through with you, that's if you're using us. Typically, building business credit to get to a Visa card or a MasterCard, Mario, typically takes about 2 to 3 years if you're doing it on your own. our clients get there in about 6 to 9 months in total time. Now, why does it take 6 months? Here's what, well, I'll explain that a little bit later. I'll explain why it takes 6 months here in a few minutes when we dive into business credit. So again, you can also see if you can partner with a local business, but GrantWatch is a great way to get state and local grants as well. Now, Mario, I'm going to answer that question here on number 8, which is business credit. So let's talk about building business credit. Because outside of the Visa card you can get once your business credit's built, there's a lot of money you can get through the process of building your business credit. So many people come and say, look, I want a Visa card using my business credit. It'll take me 8 months with your program, 6 months with your program to get there. And they look at the end goal and they say, man, I can't get money for 6 months. But you're looking at that all wrong. When you're building business credit, you are getting hundreds of thousands of dollars of credit during the time you start the process and up to the time you get to the Visa card. Even before you get the Visa card, you could have $250,000 or $500,000 in funding available even before you get to that final stage. So it should always be your goal to build good business credit, because even if you can get funding somewhere else, because it's going to help your company for years to come, because it's what controls how much money you'll get, the rates and terms. So think of it like this. Every option I've shown you today except for grants, collateral-based financing, asset-based financing, financing it's based on credit, financing it's based on cash flow. A lot of this kind of money that's available, okay, all looks at your business credit to determine the rates and terms you're going to get. So when I go to get a credit card, when I go to get a loan, they're going to look at my business credit quality, and my business credit quality is then going to determine how much I'm going to get, will I get approved, and what kind of rates and terms am I going to pay. So if you've ever gotten money before for your business and didn't like the rates and terms you got, well, that's because you don't have established business credit. You need to establish business credit so you get the rates and terms that you really want to get. Now, when I talk about this, we're talking about credit that's linked to your EIN, not your social, that doesn't require a personal guarantee. You're not personally liable for this. There's no personal credit check. And you can get credit immediately through vendors, even as a startup. Now, business credit is the only way to get money for a business unless you have these three things. Remember, so far, we've talked about you having good personal credit. We've talked about you having good collateral. We did not talk about cash flow-based financing because this presentation is for startups. And if you're a startup, you don't have cash flow yet. So you can use credit to get financing. You can use collateral to get financing. You can use cash flow to get financing. But almost all financing outside of crowdfunding and grants is going to require one of these three things to get approved. But business credit is the only legitimate way that you can get business financing without having these three things or a personal guarantor. Now, you need to keep in mind, anybody can see your business credit reports. You also need to keep in mind, you need business credit to get loans. It controls whether you'll get approved, how much you'll get approved for, the rates and terms you'll pay. You can get high limit accounts very quickly. I'm going to show you how you can get $10,000 limit accounts in 60 to 90 days. You could even get as high as about $50,000 limit accounts. So don't get me wrong. I've seen some of our clients get $150,000 lines. I have one client that got one line of credit for $300,000 using her business credit. But typically, the limits on these individual accounts can be as high as $50,000, and you don't need that guarantee. You don't need a personal credit check. It's one of the fastest ways to get money beyond being able to qualify based on your credit, cash flow, or collateral. Now, you're going to start with vendor credit. These are vendors that will give you credit to buy stuff in their stores. So let's say you're starting a business and you need office supplies and you need furnitures and you need computers, right? And you need a website set up. Every one of those things you can use vendors for. I can go to Quill and get office supplies. I can go to Uline and get shipping supplies. I can go to Strategic Network Solution to get networking solutions. We have vendors that our clients have access to that you can build websites. You can set up your phone number. You can buy t-shirts. You can do, SEO services, marketing services. So you're getting stuff your business really needs to get anyways. Instead of paying out of pocket right away for it, you're getting it on terms. You're getting it on terms as much as 30, 60 days. These are called net 30, net 60 accounts. So I'm getting stuff for my business I need now. I don't pay it back for 1 to 2 months. And the credit I'm getting through these trade vendors, it's reported to the business credit reporting agencies, Dun & Bradstreet, Equifax, and Experian. So what that's going to do is it's going to build a credit profile for my business. It's going to build a credit score for my business. So a ton of benefits I get right here, and it happens immediately. This isn't something you need to wait 6 months for. This is something that you're able to get immediately when you get started. You're able to get credit with vendors, like I said, Strategic Network Solutions, and Quill, and Granger, and Uline, and all of them sell products and services you need. You're able to use them, buy stuff you need, and not pay the payment for a month or 2 months. Then when you pay the payment, and you pay it timely, you pay it on time, they report to the business credit reporting agencies, and that typically happens within 30 to 90 days, let's say 60 days on average. And Mario asked, how can I build business credit faster? This 60 days is a very important number, and here's why. What controls how fast you can get to a Visa card when you build business credit is how many trade lines you have or accounts you have reporting on your business credit reports. The more credit you get in every tier, the faster you move to a Visa MasterCard. So if I want a Visa card, I need 14 accounts reporting on my business credit report. I need 14. So if I'm going to come in and get 5 vendors, I need to give those vendors 30 to 60 days to report. Let's say 60 days, 2 months. 60 days they report. Now I've got 5 accounts on my business credit reports. Now let's say in the next tier, I'm going to go get 5 retail credit cards. I'm going to go get Staples. I'm going to go get Apple. I'm going to get Amazon. I'm going to get Walmart. Well, it's going to take 30 to 60 days for those to report. Now I'm at 4 months, and I have 10 accounts, and it took 4 months for all 10 accounts to report. Then I'm going to come in and get fleet credit, right? And I'm going to get a gas card for my business, multiple gas cards. I'm going to get some of those to get me to 14 accounts. And I'm going to give those 30 to 60 days to report. Now I'm at 6 months, and that's why it takes 6 months to get Visa or MasterCard credit. Now, can it be done faster? Absolutely it can. And the way you do it faster is you get more credit in every tier. So instead of getting 5 vendor accounts, let's say I get 8 vendor accounts in my first round of funding. Now in 6 months, or in 2 months, I have 8 accounts on my business credit reports. Now let's say in the next round of funding, I go get another 6 accounts. Well, now when those report 2 months later, now I have my 14 accounts. So how long it takes you to build business credit determines on how many accounts you're getting in each stage of the business credit building process. The goal is to get to 14 accounts. That's how you get to Visa MasterCard. Conservatively, our clients are getting there in 6 to 8 months. Conservatively doing it outside of us and using our free training, it could take you a couple years. You got to be realistic. So once you build those vendors, then you come in and get retail credit. This is where you're getting $2,500 to $10,000 revolving accounts at almost every major retailer. So let's look at what I mean by almost every major retailer. What do you want to buy? You want to buy computers? Well, then you can get this through HP. You can get it through Dell. You can get it through Apple. You want to buy furniture? Well, then you can get it through IKEA. You can get it through Staples. You can get it through Office Depot. You want to buy outdoor supplies? Well, then you can get it through Lowe's. You can get it through Home Depot. You can get it through Sam's Club. You can get it through Costco. You can get it through almost every major retailer offers this kind of retail credit. You can get it from Nordstrom. You can get it from Macy's. I can get it from Amazon. I can get it from Walmart. Almost every major source out there offers this kind of business credit without a personal guarantee and without a personal credit check. And here's the best part. You're getting here within 60 days. So within 60 days, you're able to get credit with most major retailers. And here's why this matters. I talk to a lot of people, and I talk to them about how much it's going to cost them to start their business. And they say something like this. They say, I need $50,000 to get this business really up and going. And I say, what do you need the money for? And they say, I need 10 grand on computers. I need 10 grand in office furniture. I need 10 grand in office supplies. I need 10,000 for payroll. I need 10,000 for marketing. Well, the reality is they're trying to get a credit line for 50 grand when they don't need to be. If you really look at what they needed money for, I need 10,000 computers. I can get you that in 60 days with Dell, with Apple, with HP by building your business credit. You don't need to get a loan or a credit line for that. Use a Dell credit card to buy that. You could get that Dell credit card in 60 days Okay, I need furniture. Well, you don't need to get furniture. If you need office furniture, get it from Staples, get it from Amazon, get it from Office Depot. I can get you credit cards with those sources within 60, 90 days. And it's easier to get than a loan or a credit line. Okay, the same thing if I need office supplies. Go to Office Depot, go to Staples, go to Amazon, go to Walmart. It's easier to get a credit card for any of those places than a loan or a credit line. Now I came in and I used that credit line hybrid and I got a $100,000 credit line for that. I now got a Staples credit card. I got a Dell credit card. I've got an Office Depot and Amazon credit card. I used those credit cards to buy my computers, to buy my office furniture, to buy my office supplies. 30 of the 50 I thought I needed, I used credit cards to buy. And now I only need $20,000 for payroll and marketing, and I can use that $50,000 I got in the credit line hybrid to cover that. That's how we're working smart. We're using multiple ways of funding to be able to get this kind of credit. And as I mentioned, almost all major retailers offer it. When I look at what our clients see every day, here's what I mean by this. From Office Depot, from Gimplers to Sunoco to Speedway and ExxonMobil and Sinclair and BP and Amazon and Sears and Lowe's and Tractor Supply, almost every major retailer offers this kind of credit. Some you might not have heard about before, like Stripes Fleet Card. Some you probably have heard before, like Citgo. And it goes on and on and on. When we look at the amount of retailers that offer this kind of personal guarantee or personal credit without a personal guarantee or credit check, you can just see that there's so many sources out there. Almost every major retailer, Dell, Ally Financial, Ford, you can get auto financing. Okay, you're able to get Circle K and Apple. I mean, and on and on and on. You're able to get this without the personal guarantee, without the personal credit check. Now, if you're willing to supply personal guarantee, or you're willing to get accounts that don't report to the business credit reporting agencies, well, there's even more credit you can get access to. I mean, from O'Reilly Auto Parts to American Express to Home Depot to a lot People Ready, Best Buy. I mean, all these solutions offer this kind of credit without guarantees and without credit checks. And as you can see by all of this, even UPS, almost every single thing you need to buy for your business, you can use business credit to be able to buy. So you don't need to get high limit revolving credit or high limit credit lines and loans when you have access to all this kind of money without needing to do so. So again, this is what retail credit is. You're able to continue to apply and get this kind of credit, even fleet credit. Fleet credit's the Sunoco, it's the gas cards, it's the fleet cards that you're actually getting for your business. Okay, now once you've actually built about 14 of these, then you get to Visa, MasterCard, then you get to auto financing, all without a personal guarantee and credit check. At this point, you're able to get auto loans. You're able to come in and get a Visa card, a MasterCard. You're able to get credit at almost every major retailer. And you're able to do it very easily, even as a startup business. So a lot of different ways that you're able to come in and use business credit by itself to get money for your business. So conventional banks, not the place to go. You need to stay away from them in SBA loans as a startup. Try collateral-based financing. We talked about 12 or 15 kinds of assets that you could actually use as collateral to get financing. You can also get unsecured financing. We talked about this, the credit line hybrid program where you can get up to 150 grand. Unsecured credit cards through major sources that you're able to get using your business credit to get a Visa or MasterCard without a personal guarantee, without a personal credit check. Let's not forget about grants. Grantwatch.gov, great place to look at grants in your local area. HUD grants, USDA grants, all kinds of grants, even available in your township, your city, and your county to look into, money that doesn't have to actually be paid back. And you also have business credit. Along the way of getting that Visa or MasterCard, you can get revolving high limit accounts at almost every major retailer. And if you really think about what you need to fund your business, you could buy it almost all at every major retailer. For Credit Suite, we spend money at Amazon, a lot of money at Amazon. And we also spend a lot of money at Dell. Okay, that's what we do. We buy a lot of computers, we buy a lot of office supplies and our furniture, stuff like that from Office Depot, Staples, and we buy most of the stuff we need to do our day-to-day operations at Amazon. Every one of those, we use a business credit card to be able to pay for. And those business credit cards are way easier than getting loans and credit lines as well. So remember, we're playing to your strengths to get money. Okay, we're either playing to your credit strength, that you have good credit, or a guarantor that does. We're playing to your collateral strength, that you have assets or somebody else else that's a guarantor that does. We're playing to the fact that you have cash flow down the road. When you build cash flow, that can be a strength. And then we're also coming in and building our own strength with business credit and using that strength for our business to fund itself and to get even more money. Now, if we can help you along the way, then reach out to us and let us know. We never charge you a dime of money to get loans or credit lines. Not a dime. Don't get me wrong, we're going to refer you to finance sources and they'll charge you rates and terms and interest, but we use the volume that we do to get you discounts on that funding. We'll even build a blueprint to get an SBA loan. We don't just say, here's the loan you can get now, I hope you like it. We say, here's the loan you can get now. If you want an SBA loan, you need to do these 3 things. We help you do those 3 things so you can even come in and graduate and start getting SBA loans. So the goal for us is that you just should never have to need to look for money. All you'd ever have to do is give us a call at 877-600-2487. We're going to help you get all the money that you're able to get from all these different sources that offer. We work with over 1,000 funding sources. We help you build business credit. We help you get everything you need to set up your business where you're fundable and you can get the money you need to actually grow your business. Now, if you like this, and do me a favor, like the video, okay, subscribe to the channel. We go live twice a week on YouTube and we have all kinds of training on ways to get money for your business. Okay, and also follow us on the rest of our social channels. CreditSuite.com, the top right of our page. You'll access the rest of our social channels. We go live on Facebook twice a week, live on YouTube twice a week, tips daily on Instagram and Twitter. We even have a podcast with over 300,000 downloads, so you can listen on the go to all kinds of information on getting credit financing. And our podcast, we bring in guest experts that teach you everything under the sun on managing money, on keeping more of your profits, on all kinds of tricks and tactics to be able to successfully grow a business. You can access all that by our social links at the top right of our page at creditsuite.com. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, if we can help you along the way with getting money for your business, give us a ring, 877-600-2487. That's 877-600-2487. If you give us a call, what happens on that call is we do a free check to see how fundable your business is. We also will come in and do a free assessment to see where and how you're set up with the business credit reporting agency to see if you have credit with them now that you might not even know you have. Okay, we also come in and determine all the financing you're able to get right now, help you get your business credit reports for free, and then help you map out a strategy to get the money and credit you need for your business. We do all that for free on a consultation call with us, so feel free to give us a ring, 877-600-2487. That's 877-600-2487. Thanks for tuning in. I will see you next Tuesday at 2 o'clock Eastern here live on YouTube.